So chances are the majority of the people watching this video right now are still in school, whether that be college, high school, middle school, you name it. I doubt any elementary kids are watching me, but if you're in elementary right now and you're watching me, then kudos to you for watching my videos at such a young age, because majority of my videos are self-improvement. So if you're really applying the knowledge that I be sharing on here and putting it into your life at that age, you're going to be something great in life. But in this video, I'm really just going to be giving you guys my thought process and my perspective on what I think of college right now after freshly graduating high school, because I did just graduate 2021, and I do not plan on going to college. I just want to get that out the way right now. I really don't see the need for me to go to college, but I'm really going to be breaking that down later on in the video. I'm really just going to be telling you guys how I feel after freshly graduating high school, what my thoughts on college are. Let's just get straight into it. So to be honest with you, I could see both sides of college. I'm not going to say it's a complete waste of time. I personally feel like it could be switched up a bit, and it needs to be switched up. It needs to be remodeled, the whole outline of college, the whole outline of school in general. But I can see why it's a system built. I can see why people agree with it. But let's get straight into it. So basically, the reason I'm not going to college is because I have no reason to. My first perspective of college is it's useless unless you have a reason to go there. Now, me personally, I have no reason to be there. My career desire in life, I don't know what to call it. The career path I'm taking does not require college. I do not need to go to college. I don't plan on becoming a doctor or a lawyer. So therefore, I literally have no reason to want to go to college. Like, it's pointless to me. But the way I look at it is, if you know what you want to do in life, college necessarily isn't useless to you, because let's say you want to be a doctor and that's really your dream and is really what you've been wanting to do for a while, then you're obviously going to have to go to college. And I agree with college on that aspect, because I feel like certain career paths do need to be trained for. Like, we can't just have anyone being a doctor out here. Obviously, you need to get trained and know how to do what you're about to do. So I agree with college on that aspect, whereas for certain career paths, I feel like you definitely do need training. Now, like I said, I feel like college should be remastered, because the way that it's built right now is pretty ridiculous, and I'm gonna touch up on that later on. But really, what I gotta say is, in my personal opinion, college is useless unless you know what you want to do with your life, and you know exactly what your career path is, what you're trying to do for a career path, and you know that it requires college. Like I said, if you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer, then yeah, obviously you're gonna need some college, because that's just the world we live in at the moment. Now, if you don't know what you want to do with your life, college is completely and utterly useless until you figure it out, because there's so many people be like feeling like they're forced to go to college. They just be hopping in college blind, and in my opinion, that's just foolish. You're just setting yourself up for failure at that point. 99% of the time, you're gonna set yourself up for failure to either here's what happens. There's usually two main scenarios that happen when people randomly just hop into college blind. Either they drop out because they realize college isn't for them, or they end up settling for some career path that they never even wanted because they just felt pressured to choose something. So they're just like, oh, screw it, I'm just going to pick this career, even though I never even have a desire to do it. And I feel like that happens like 99% of the time when people hop into college blind. In my opinion, if you do not know what you want to do with your life, do not go into college, because that's just going to set yourself up for failure, especially if you're the one paying for it. The only time you should ever hop into college blind is if you have a whole bunch of scholarships, or one of your rich, wealthy Asian parents is paying for the whole entire tuition. If your whole entire college is paid for and you don't have to pay a single penny, maybe your parents did that one program where they save a penny a day since you were born, and all of a sudden they have enough to pay for your college. Unless your college is paid for, do not hop into it blind. But if it's paid for, I mean, might as well enjoy the free ride. I mean, if someone else is paying for it and there's no backside to you, you might as well go in and then see what it's all about. But if you have to pay your own college bills and you have to buy all those textbooks as well, oh yeah, like, you're setting yourself up for failure. The only time you should ever hop into college, especially if you're the one paying for it, is if you know what you want to do with your life. Because people don't realize you could literally take a year, you could take like a gap year after you graduate high school. You don't have to hop into college right away. You could literally go into college pretty much any age you want, unless you're over the 80, then you're kind of screwed at that point. But like, you could take a whole year to see what you want to do with your life, experiment. You don't have to hop into college right away blind, because that's when people set themselves up for failure, like I said, and they just end up settling for some random job, and then they end up living a miserable 9-to-5 life, and then they wasted like 4+ years in college doing what they don't even love to do. Now I'm gonna talk about another reason why college really is not a good system. listen, let's say you want to be a doctor, right? If you're going to college to be a doctor, you should only be required to take doctorate classes and classes that will actually benefit you in that category. They really have you going to college. You could be majoring for something like a lawyer, and then they force you to be put in like history class or math. Like, when is a history teacher going to need to know all the facts of? I mean, when is a lawyer going to need to know all the facts about history? Like, you know what I'm saying? They be forcing you to put in random classes that don't have anything to do with your career path. That's the same thing with all school. Like, why is school like that? Like, it's so useless. They be teaching you the most useless information. Now, I can understand if the information was actually going to be useful in life. But the information that they teach you is straight BS. Like, you're never going to use it. I'm sorry. When are you ever going to use geometry in a real life scenario? When are you going to be interviewing for a job and then they whip out a triangle and they say, oh, tell me all the dimensions of this triangle? Like, never. When are you ever going to go to the grocery store and they ask you who the first president was? Like, I don't see when any of those, I don't see when history or when math, pre-algebra, calculus, I don't see when any of that's going to come in handy. Literally, all that stuff is useless. Literally, everything they teach you past like the third grade is straight useless. Like, you can literally ask your math teacher when you go back to school, did they ever use this math? I guarantee you they're going to say no. So I did like it. Back to what I was saying. College, it's built retardedly. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's really built retarded because you could be majoring in a certain subject and they have you studying other categories that you don't need for that career path. So like, why are you even forced to learn those? All right, so this video is kind of all over the place because I'm really just ranting off the top of my dome. But I'm gonna try to reorganize everything I said. Basically, point number one. College is useless unless you already know what you want to do with your life. Then go ahead and dibble and dabble in college. Point number two, the whole entire system of college needs to be rebuilt. Like, I understand like how people can agree with it, you know, because obviously I don't want any random pedestrian being able to become a doctor. Obviously, you got to go through some training, but it needs to be reorganized. I mean, it needs to be remastered. The whole entire school system does, because I really don't see the need why they're forcing on to all sorts of other categories of education onto someone who's just trying to learn, who's just trying to be in one field of education. You get what I'm saying? And those are my two thoughts on college right now. I'm really not going because, like I said, my career path doesn't require college. And if you don't need to go to college, then what's the point of going? Like, all the information they teach you anyways, you're going to end up forgetting, or you're just never going to need it. So, like, what's really the point? And especially nowadays, since college is online, pretty much majority of college, I think, is still online. You're really not going to have any college parties. So, like, again, what's the point of going to college at that point? So, to wrap this video up, because I really don't even know where this video is headed, college is pretty much useless unless you already know what you want to do with your life. If you know what you want to do with your life and you know it requires college, then by all means, go to college. And I'm dropping this video right now because I know school's about to start up and some people are really about to go to college. Oh yeah, one thing I want to touch upon again, and this advice is for anyone who actually stuck around to the end. Just because you're living with your parents doesn't mean you're forced to go to college. Actually, I just had a genius idea. I'm going to make this into a whole nother YouTube video. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I'll catch y'all young boys later. This video was kind of all over the place, but all the OGs watched it. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Caw, daily uploads. Let's get it.